Hello, everyone. Welcome to the official first episode of Imperfectly Impactful. So happy to have all of you here. So happy you're listening. This is a crazy, crazy journey getting to this point, and I just can't wait to share it with all of you all. So today is just basically a little of my story and journey, especially just focusing on the past few months of leading up to this launch and getting to the point of wanting to start a podcast. I will have the next episode more on the why behind the podcast, but today will be a little bit more on me and my journey that I've been going on to get to this point. So if you've been following me along on social media, I went to the Powerhouse Women event in August of this year, so 2023. And prior to that, I found out about that event via Lori Harder and Lindsay Schwartz, their podcast. So loved listening to it. I've been listening to it probably a little over a year, was very, very excited. Ended up signing up for the event, going totally alone, had no one else actually going with me. I asked a few people, no one wanted to go. And so I went alone. The week before the event, I actually was extremely nervous, almost backed out, almost didn't go. And then I had the convincing husband who said, "You're going to have fun. It's going to be worth it. You need to go." So I went. And thankfully, it was probably the best decision. I will say it was the one day I can pinpoint that was life-changing for me to get to this point. And out of the event, I was able to meet and network with tons of people. Some I can call now friends, some I can call mini mastermind partners. We did start a little mini mastermind out of it with a group of 9 of us. And while I was at that event, there's one thing I had heard about on the Powerhouse Women podcast from Lindsay, and that was this 6-figure school. And basically, it is a opportunity for you to learn step by step how to launch, grow an email list, social media. And I didn't know what the financial cost was going to be behind it until literally the Saturday sitting on main event day. And the number was a little scary, even with $1,000 off, being at the event, getting all these bonuses. It was very, very scary. And I will say that was the first thing I sat there and had to think on. And I was very uncomfortable. If I was to spend that money, if I was to jump into this program, I didn't know if I could do that. And my gut kept saying, "You've been paying attention for 2 to 3 months. It's the right thing. You were going to be in this amazing network of other women, including Lindsay, who will mentor you along and guide you along. And it's an indefinite membership. So I pay into it and I get to do this program every single year." So I dived in and I decided to do it day of. I got to do a one-on-one picture with Lindsay, Lori, all the speakers from the event. And I now have been in a network of people who are supportive and everything, and just learning from others who are also struggling and going through things. Some who are just starting business ideas, starting businesses, or have been in it and making 6 figures and growing. And it's just amazing to see and be inspired and motivated by all of them. Aside from that, I had some of those closer relationships in my mastermind. And it was the first time I really got to share my true desire of wanting to be in events, wanting to influence people, and just really voice that what I currently was doing, and I was in hotels still, was not where I was truly happy. But I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know what the right path was. I was very lost. I had started my travel business, and it was amazing, but it still just wasn't clicking the way I wanted it to. So I jumped into 6-figure school right after that, and immediately had a challenge put onto us in the program. And it was a 30-day challenge. And it could be anything that was going to stretch you, push you, whatever it was. And a lot of people did business related stuff. But me being at the beginning of my business, I was really trying to do something that would truly impact me and help me get more clarity and just find a groove better than what I was doing. And that ended up being giving up alcohol for 30 days, as well as adding in some additional wellness challenges. And if you followed me on social media during that time, it was a crazy 30 days and it was amazing. And I realized during that time that alcohol was kind of my upper limit. It was what I did when I got stuck or didn't think I could move forwards. And that's a whole other topic for another episode, which I will talk about in the future. But in all honesty, it was just this crazy thing of clarity I got. And crazy to think in the midst of that, I hired on a life coach, and she's helping me and has been helping me work through more internally, past, present, future, but myself, anywhere from thoughts to anxiety to limiting beliefs, all those wonderful things that we learn and need to learn about ourselves that we probably tuck in and push it down for another time or for never. And then the second thing is, in the midst of the 30 days, I was presented with an opportunity to leave the hotel industry and go work for an industry I had no idea anything about. But one of the girls I met at Powerhouse Women reached out to me in the midst of this challenge 15 minutes after she had received a 2-week notice from their event manager. And she's like, hey, we talked during Powerhouse Women. We've been keeping up with each other. I know you're organized. I know you love to plan. I know you've been wanting to plan events. I have an opportunity for you. Are you interested? And I'd already been just trying to decide what my next step was, in hotels, not hotels. I really didn't know what it was going to be. And it was this weird moment of, okay, tell me more. Tell me, is this the right thing? Like, let me learn about the company. Let me learn about the role. And I'll be honest, when I got the job description and when we were talking about some things, I was scared. I almost talked myself out of it, to be honest. And I got on the phone with my mom and we started talking through all these things of what I was good at and all the things I've learned, both in my career and my childhood, following her and seeing what my mom had been doing growing up in events. And I had the skill set, I had the tools, as I like to say now. Those tools were there. They just hadn't been used in this certain way, and they hadn't been sharpened in a long, long time because I hadn't had to use them. And I'd been holding back and I'd been held back because of the job I was in, didn't need that. It's not what I was doing. And now I had this opportunity basically laid out in front of me. And I'll be honest, if I was not in that 30-day wellness challenge, I probably would have talked myself out of it and stuck to it, or taken way, way too long for this lady to wait on me to actually want to accept the job. And because I didn't, I followed my gut. I felt it in me, and it was scared shitless, but it was the right thing. It was telling me that I had to take this opportunity. I had to take the chance. I had to take the risk because I was not happy where I was. This is something I love to do. And I'd love to be challenged, and I wanted to learn more. And this was it. So I took the chance. I took the leap of faith. And I am now a meetings and events planner manager for a $500-600 million company. I plan all their big events, and it's just amazing. And I have learned so much already. And just, the few weeks, few months I have been with the company, and still there are days that I want to talk myself out of it. But I got to that point. And then somewhere in the midst of me accepting this job, me starting the job and putting in my 2 weeks at the hotel, which I've been with for almost a decade, and talking to my life coach and talking to other people, I woke up one morning and was like, I need to start a podcast. Never in my life had I ever thought of it. It was not on my radar. It was not a thought in my head. And I was like, I need to start a podcast. I almost talked myself out of this job. I'm a stayed in hotels. I have always done what everyone else has told me to do, and I've never done something for me. And this is the first time for twice now, joining six-figure school, becoming uncomfortable and paying that money and putting myself in a room that I would have never done before and have never done before, but also accepting this job that I would have never taken either if I had not gone through this whole event and connections and network of people and people motivating me to do what I want to do and learn about myself. And I have gotten to that point now. I woke up and I was like, I've got to share my story, because also I'm not the only one. I have so many friends, so close friends, that deal with the people pleasing and not wanting to disappoint, and the perfectionism and wanting to make sure they are perfect before they take the next step or do the next thing or even go after anything. And it's something as simple as a personal goal or a career goal. And I don't know. I just was like, I have to share my story. I want to inspire others. I want to motivate others. And in the midst of all of this, I will say too, it's motivated me more. And I've already had, even pre-launching this entire podcast, I've had 3 or 4 people come to me going, you're inspiring me to want to do a podcast. You're inspiring me to want to do something. And I'm speechless when they say that because I haven't even done anything. I don't even know what I'm doing still. I'm still learning as I go, but I'm doing it imperfectly. That was the point. That is why partially the name is Imperfectly Impactful. I am wanting to impact people by doing it myself imperfectly. And it's scary. It is not easy. And there are many, many days that I am still second guessing everything that I am doing. But I'm committed, because if I'm committed, I'll be consistent and I will actually make a difference, because the difference isn't going to happen. I'm not going to impact everyone, inspire everybody here in just the first couple of weeks and then be like, check, done, go. No, it's going to take months. It's going to take years. It's going to take time for me to do this. And hopefully down the road, inspire all of you. That is my ultimate goal. I want to make a difference in other people's lives. People have done that for me, and I want to continue doing that for them. And I still need that inspiration. I still need that motivation. So I hope in this podcast that you will find a community. You will find me, someone that you can come to, listen to, rely on down the road, hopefully spend some more time and extra time with, that we can truly create accountability and motivation and inspiration with one another. And along the way, I'll tell more of my journey and story, and what has maybe led myself as well as other people that we're bringing on, the speakers, my guests, and let them share their stories too of what has influenced them and caused them to get to the point of this perfectionism, especially as women. We are very, very more likely to have perfectionism as an issue. And there's all this research behind it now, and I am hoping to bring some people on who can also talk in more detail about that. But I do want to leave you with these things, and I hope in the midst of all of that story, you didn't get lost and you're still here with me in my first episode. But there are 4 key things that in the past 3 to 4 months I have learned that have ultimately gotten me to where I am and where I'm going to go. And I have to keep doing these things and be consistent doing them to get there. And those things are, first, you have to put yourself in the room, whatever that means for you, whether it's a small room, a big room of people, it is putting yourself in a virtual room, it is doing the thing, put yourself in the room. And that leads me to 2, is be uncomfortable. Be uncomfortable going to that room. Don't make it a room that you're easily going into. It's your friends, it's the people you know. Put yourself in the room that you don't know the people. Financially, put yourself out there, because when you do put the money in, you're more likely to be committed and do it because you put the money into it. So you got to keep going. Number 3, learn to follow your gut. And it is not easy and is not something I have done many times. There's very, very few, but I am learning and slowly but surely following what my gut and my intuition is telling me. And 4, allow the feelings, allow the emotions to come in when you feel them. If you are frustrated, stressed, second guessing everything you're doing, you have to let the emotions come in, because you have to process it and let it go out. Because if you don't let yourself process and you don't let it sit for a moment and then push it through your system, it's going to sit there and it's going to keep building and building up. And each of these 4 things that I just talked about, I will be doing multiple discussions, topics, episodes on all of these, but I wanted to run that through with you because in just 3 months, those 4 things have really been what's impacted me the most. It's putting myself in the room and networking with the people. It's becoming uncomfortable financially and mentally. It's learning to follow my gut. It's allowing the feelings in and processing so that I can move on and move forwards and do the things that I want to do and not continue to second guess and not continue to be stressed and anxious and frustrated at whatever may be going on. So I want to help you. I really, really hope I can help you. I want you to find your true passions. I want to motivate you. I want to help hold you accountable to whatever it is you want to do in your life that's for you, that you decide to do. So my time to do that's going to be right here on the podcast. It's going to be working with all of you, speaking to you from afar and hopefully eventually closer. But just remember, just be your authentic self when you come here, when you speak, when you share, when you do everything, just be you. Because you have to do everything for you, because then you will be happy. And then you're doing and excited about everything that you will be doing later on. And that's not easy. It's not easy to do what you want to do. There's all these voices, whether it's in your head or externally, that are coming to you. So I hope this was able to give you a little background and some backstory on me. Very short snippet of time frame. And like I said, I will dive further and further and further into more at a future date. But I want to kind of give a little background on what got me to this point, what got me here, and hopefully to all of you who are out there listening. And I cannot wait to share more, bring on our guest, and just dive into what it is to be imperfectly impactful. All right. Well, I will see you guys next time.